Here at the American Cancer Society of Central and South Georgia strive to fight cancer on a local, regional, and national level. But this summer, that fight got a little personal. The executive director, Brenda Hollick, was out for 6 weeks getting treatment for breast cancer. I spoke to her and to Bobby Baines, a prostate cancer survivor and a volunteer at Macon Outreach. I asked them what it took to get through their fights with cancer.
These are my 3 little grandkids. And
Brenda Hollick's battle with cancer started when she was 41.
I always laugh and kind of say God gave me an itch because I was at work and actually did just kind of have an itch, and I reached up to scratch and I felt a little lump.
She'd had no history of breast cancer in her family and no other symptoms. Hollick says the diagnosis caught her completely off guard.
I went a little crazy. I was very upset. I cried. I thought I was going to die.
She had the tumor removed, then 6 weeks of chemotherapy and 6 more of radiation. That was supposed to keep the cancer away, and it did, until she found another lump almost 17 years later.
It was the same breast that I had had cancer in before. I said, I do not want to do this again. So I opted for a double mastectomy.
Hollick said she could not have gotten through either episode without her faith, her friends, or her family.
I've got 3 grandkids, and I'm like, God, I'm not ready to go. I'm going to fight this thing and do what I need to do.
Good morning. How you doing today?
59-year-old Bobby Baines says faith also pulled him through his cancer fight 3 years ago.
Because I believe that God puts no more on me than I can bear.
Baines says his prostate cancer diagnosis wasn't a surprise. It runs in his family, but he still had to work to keep his head up.
So I said, well, I can beat this thing. I had to remind myself that I had cancer. Cancer didn't have me.
He says serving food at Macon Outreach helped remind him of that motto.
I get a chance to do something and to focus on other people that have problems, someone greater than what I had dealt with.
While the motivation to fight cancer may be different for everyone, Hollick says it all boils down to knowing you have a lot to live for.
Your life is never over. You think if I can get to this point in my life, I'm okay. But when you get to that point, there's something else you want. So it just keeps you going.
The one thing Hollick and Baines both stressed was staying vigilant. They say knowing your risk factors for cancer and getting regular checkups puts you in a better position just in case the unthinkable happens. Reporting in Macon, Candace Adorka, 13 WMAZ Eyewitness News.